Hey, how's it going? My name is Rob and welcome to Stream Deck Secrets, a brand new series where I showcase a bunch of cool things you can do with the Elgato Stream Deck. This is episode 1, the pilot episode, so we're going to be going through some very basic functions like adding your first action and making folders and profiles and what's the difference between them. Before we dive in, I do want to say a massive thank you to Elgato for sending out the Stream Deck Plus, and this whole series wouldn't be possible without you. Naturally, if you don't have a Stream Deck, there are links down below to where you can go and pick one up through Amazon or Elgato's website. Anyway, that's enough yapping. Let me show you the basics of how to use your Stream Deck. Okay, so once you've got the Stream Deck set up, it's all plugged in, you've got the software going, you're going to be looking at something a little bit like this. You may not have these exact buttons, but I'm going to walk you through what they do, how to change everything around to your liking, and make sure that you have the best workflow possible. And today we're going to be going over 3 different things you can do with the Stream Deck. The first of which are actions, like these. Then you have kind of a storage, a way of managing all of your buttons, which are either folders or profiles. I'm going to explain the difference between them as we go. And then we have multi-action buttons and switches. These are a little bit more in depth, but once you understand how actions work, then we can move on to those. Also, your layout may look a little bit different to mine depending on which version of the Stream Deck you're using. If you're using the Stream Deck Plus, the one that has the knobs, the little dials, you'll have something like this. If you're using the Stream Deck Neo, it's basically a smaller version of this with 6 buttons, I think it is. Then you have the Stream Deck mobile app, which gives you access to 6 buttons absolutely free, and you can even add folders and things like that into this. And if you want to, you can even upgrade and get all of these buttons for like a quarter of the price of an actual Stream Deck. The only difference is, you'll be using it on your phone or a tablet rather than physical buttons. For now, and for the sake of this video, I'm only going to be using the standard Stream Deck like this one right here. So first and foremost, you're going to want to learn how to create actions. This is an action and it's very simple. It's going to open up Google like so. Nice little window, nothing too crazy. But how do we do that? How do we make the Stream Deck perform an action? Well, all of these right here are called plugins, and you can get loads of these by tapping this little button right here, which will take you to Elgato's official store. You can go ahead and get different profiles, icons, plugins, all that good stuff. You can control your volume using the Stream Deck, OBS if you're a live streamer, content creator, something like that. You can control Discord, you can control your lights, Twitch, Spotify. I'll talk about these a little bit more in the future, but we're not going to need any of these for today's video. But for now, let's say you want to go ahead and make this little function right here, the Open Google web page. All you want to do for that, in your list of plugins, you want to search for website. Drag that over, and you now have a website button, but it's not going to do anything yet. So to get started, all you want to do is type in the URL. In this case, let's just type in Google, and when you tap that button, just like that, you have created your first action. Now, another example of a good action would be this one right here, which controls my light. When I tap this one, things are going to get very bright. Yep, that's still unbearable. I can do this because I have the Elgato key light, which basically means I can control everything my light does from temperature to brightness through the Stream Deck app or just from my PC. And for the key light, we use a plugin called Control Center, which is this guy right here. If you want to go ahead and set the brightness, for instance, you can just drag that over. You now have a button that does it, and we can turn this all the way up to 100% when we push the button, or we can turn it all the way down. That's completely up to you. I like to keep it at around about 50%, but there we go. That is another example of how to set up an action. Now, let's say you want to keep all of your actions organized. What is the best way of doing it? Because we have pages and pages, but you don't want to be scrolling for days like this, just kind of working your way through them all to find the one that you want. Well, you have 2 options really. You can go ahead and make a folder, something like this, but the issue with it is you have this back button. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but you can't move it. So if you want to keep things organized, it can kind of get in the way. And also you're limited to just these buttons on the screen. There's no option to add more pages like there was a second ago. Your other option would be to add a new profile. And to do so, you're going to want to start by just going up here and clicking on this little guy right here. Go all the way down to the bottom, new profile. And just like that, you're going to be in this weird empty space and it's going to look kind of scary. How do I get back? That freaked me out the first time it happened to me. If you want to go back to your homepage or whatever page you started on, you just click up here again and you can go to homepage or whatever. I'm currently using Stream Deck Secrets. These are all my profiles, by the way. Yes, I do prefer using these way more than I like using folders. And there we go. So to quickly get from one profile to another, we need to make an action that just switches the profiles over. To do that, we're going to look for profile, grab this guy from navigation, switch profile, and we can pop him down here. And now where it says profile over here, this is the one we're going to be switching to. Click it and then select the new profile that you just made. You can rename these, by the way. If you want to rename them, all you have to do is edit profiles, find the one that you want to rename and call it whatever you want. like so. You can also set it so that when you open a specific application like Photoshop or Premiere Pro, it will automatically open that profile. I don't really use this, but it is an option. Now, what you're going to find is if we go into that profile, like I said, we're going to be stuck in this weird void with no way to get back. So we're going to want to make another one. It's going to be like our back button, getting back to the previous window. Once that new profile is in there, all you have to do is go here and select your homepage or wherever you were before. And essentially, you just have a little toggle that goes from one profile to another at the tap of a button. And the benefits of this are you can now move this back button around. You can actually change the icon by tapping this little guy right here and searching for back button, for instance. And of course, we have unlimited pages, which makes life so much easier. I don't want these, so I'm just gonna get rid of them all now. Hey, this is me from the future. I'm sorry to interrupt the video. This is where somebody would normally put a sponsor to tell you to go and do something. I'm not gonna do that. I just want to say that if you're enjoying this video and you want to support the channel, I have a store with video editing presets made specifically to speed up your workflow, get things going, transitions, effects. Check it out. It's pretty cool. It's all my stuff, and I would much rather plug my stuff, which I know is good quality, than some company that's just paying me to do an ad read. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Enjoy the rest of Stream Deck Secrets. So there we go. You now understand the basics of how to make an action, which is great. That's essential. And you also know how to organize everything, whether you use folders or profiles. It doesn't really matter. There's no limit to how many folders and pages and stuff like that you can create. As far as I know, I've got hundreds and nothing has happened to my stuff yet. But what if we want to string two actions together? We want to open Google and turn the lights to 100% all in one go, for instance. Well, for that, you're going to want something like a multi-action button. To find this, all you're going to want to do is look for this guy right at the very top called multi-action. Click and drag that down here, and a new window will open up where you can put a bunch of different actions that all happen simultaneously. So rather than pressing one button to open Google and then another button to control the light, one multi-action will do everything. So if we go ahead and search for website like so, we can then get that to open Google. Then we can add another one to set the brightness all the way up to 100% at the tap of a single button. So if we go ahead and tap this button, this is what is going to happen. Google is going to open and the lights will blind you. A slightly better example of how to use a multi-action rather than just a bunch of random commands is something a little bit like this. This multi-action sequence opens up Google, then it waits a couple of seconds and then types this text into the search field. So you could use this to automatically compose a tweet that goes out anytime you go live. It would open up Twitter, you'd type your message, it would press send, and therefore saves you time. Or you could use it to control both the brightness of your light and the temperature of it. So if we go ahead and tap this button, this is what happens. It opens Google, waits 3 seconds or 3000 milliseconds, types in the text, and even if I wanted to, I could get it to send the text by pressing this little guy right here, press enter after message. Now, using a multi-action sequence is super simple. All you're going to want to do is add all the actions that you want. So for instance, we'll open the website, we'll then add a delay, turn that to 3000 milliseconds or 3 seconds. Then we're going to look for text, and voila, we just drag this guy over as well. And it's going to perform all of these actions in one tap of a button. Any text that we want to put in. I'm not going to test this, but you get the idea. You can just add in a list of things and it will do it all for you, which is fantastic. That's pretty much everything. You understand how to create an action. You understand how to organize them all. You even know how to tie multiple actions together in a multi-action button. But what if you want to make a kind of toggle? So you can turn the brightness of the light, for instance, from 50% to 100. And then you tap the button again, it goes from 100 to 50. That is what this final button is going to do. If we open it up, we have a similar window to what we had a second ago with the multi-action. The only difference is we have 2 pages now. We have page 1 and page 2. Now this is going to happen when you press the button once and then when you push it again. The first time you push the button, it's going to turn the light to 50%, which it is now. And then you're going to tap the button again a second time and it will turn the light to 100%. And bear in mind, this is a multi-action, so you can just add a list of stuff that turns on and turns off with one button press. So let's try that now. Multi-action switch. Nothing happens because it's already on 50%, but then if we tap it again, it goes up to 100. It still burns my retinas. 50% again. A little example of how I like to use these. I have this multi-action switch right here. If we open it up, you can see that the first action does a bunch of stuff. It opens software, it turns my prompter on, turns my camera on. As we scroll down, it opens apps, minimizes some of them, just makes my whole setup pretty much automate itself. If I need to record a video or go live, I tap one button and everything is done for me, which is so great. It saves me so much time having to try and arrange everything. And then whenever I'm done streaming or recording, whatever I'm doing, I can tap the button again and it will close all of those windows. It will close OBS, it will turn turn my lights off, mute my microphone, end the stream. So I don't really have to worry about doing anything myself anymore. I can be a lazy boy and just have everything automated for me, which is great. And there we go. Just like that, you now know how to use your Stream Deck. You know how to make actions, organize things, multi-action switches. Dude, you're killing it already. Next week, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the Elgato Prompter, which is an incredible device. I'm using it right now. Still getting used to it. It's a crazy piece of kit, but my God, it's amazing. Then the next time we see me, we're going to be talking about some really cool functionality you can do to control the prompter using your Stream Deck. And I'm really excited to showcase all of that. And going forwards, if you have any suggestions, things that you want to see, leave a comment down below, because if you want to create something, I'm pretty sure I can make it using just the Stream Deck. So that's pretty much it. Once again, there are links down below to all of the Stream Decks. If you haven't already got one, check it out. Maybe try the mobile app for free and then upgrade that if you want to. I love your faces. Thank you so much for watching this video. You're amazing, you're beautiful. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and I will catch you in the next episode of Stream Deck Secrets.